27. Isra. I have to get out. I can't let this be the end. I have to know if Jem is the one lighting the fires at the gathering stones. I have to know if he's alive, and if he is, I have to tell him the way I feel. I refuse to die without at least trying to... Father, please, Bo says. Let me talk to her alone. You've talked enough, Junji shouts. The world will end, and you'll still be talking. Open the door, Isra. Show me that you are more than a blight on your family's good name. I laugh in response, a mad laugh that sends me dashing on tiptoe deeper into the room. I spin in a circle, looking for a way out, though I know there is none. The window is bricked closed, save for a sliver of an opening too small for me to fit more than my fingers through, and there's no other window, no door, no way out. But one, maybe one. Isra, please, listen, Bo says. The dome is falling. We'll all die by tomorrow morning without your help. You might die sooner than that. I press my fist to my mouth and hum a tune I don't recognize as I throw open the trunk at the base of Needle's bed and pull the knife with the jeweled scabbard from beneath a stack of lavender-scented sheets. I found the blade among my mother's things when Needle and I were searching for places to hide the bricks. I don't know why my mother had it, or if she ever put it to use, but I swear I can feel her spirit within me as I take it in my hand. Your father would be ashamed, Junji says. He didn't raise you to be a coward. I'm not a coward, but I can't even think the thought. I've never wanted to take a life. Never. Not even Junji's, and certainly not Bo's. He's wrong and more blind than I ever was, and jealous and trapped in the deep dark of his father's shadows, but he's not wicked. He doesn't deserve to be murdered. Neither do you. They've given you no other choice. Get the key from behind the stone. It opens every door in this tower, Junji orders, beyond the door before adding in a gentler voice. This is your last chance, Isra. It's not too late to die with honor. My last chance. He's right. This is my last chance, and only chance. My fingers tighten around the knife, and I ease the blade from its sheath, toss the heavy gold scabbard onto the bed, and walk on cat feet towards the door, my breath heavy in my lungs, my fist clenching on the hilt of the knife until its jewels dig into my flesh. With an unexpectedly steady hand, I reach for the lock. I'll wait until I hear Bo start down the stairs. Then I'll throw the door open. Surprise will be my only ally. Junji is shorter than I am, but stronger and trained to fight. I'll have one chance, one moment to... No, Bo says. I pause, hand hovering over the lock. I won't. Then I'll get it myself, Junji says. No, father. There are shuffling sounds outside, and then Bo continues, in as strong a voice as I've ever heard from him. She's my wife, and I will decide what to do with her. I'm about to tell him that he has as much right to decide my fate as the ants I found in my fruit tray this morning, but Junji beats me to it. You have no rights. You lost the right to decide anything when you... I won't see her murdered, Bo says. That's not the way of our city. It never has been. The queens gave their blood as a gift to Yuan. Even Isra's mother chose to jump from the balcony. I wish Isra would give us that gift, but it's her choice. My hand drops to my side. My fingers loosen on the hilt of my knife. Bo truly does have a heart. Not enough for me to love him, but enough for me to respect him more than I thought I could. Her choice will be the ruin of this city, Junji says, pain thickening his voice. Yuan will fall, son, forever. There's no going back. I know. Bo's whisper is so soft that I must lean in and press my ear to the door to catch the rest of his words. But there's nothing we can do, not if we choose to be the kind of men who deserve to be kings and leaders of kings. We can't make the same mistake twice. Murder isn't the way. Can't make the same mistake twice. Murder isn't the way. What does that mean? My voice is loud enough to hurt my ears, so I know that it penetrates the wood, but there's no answer. Not from Beau, and not from his father, whom, until now, I've never known to be lost for words. Who else did you murder? I slam my hand into the door hard enough to make my palm sting. Who? Beau told me Jem escaped that night. Beau sent the soldiers after him. But what if he was lying? What if the soldiers killed Jem? What if that's the reason he hasn't come for me the way he promised? Tell me who you killed, I shout, trying not to panic. Tell! You should go, father. Take the soldiers with you for protection and head south with the others, Beau says, ignoring me as he's always done when what I have to say is inconvenient. I'll stay here with Isra. What? All the angry words ready at my lips fall away. What does he mean he'll stay with Isra? No, Junji says. That's ridiculous. You'll come with me. I'm king, and I will stay with this city through all trials. It's what I swore to do when Isra and I were married. No, son, please. Junji's words end in a barking sound, then another. It takes me a moment to realize that the sounds are sobs, that Junji, the most intimidating man, respected and terrifying, is crying. I never wanted this. It's all right, Beau says, then whispers something too soft for me to hear. Something that makes Junji's barking become a pitiful moan. I would feel for him, but it's impossible to feel for a man who lied to me, betrayed me, held me captive, and, if not for his son's intervention, would have killed me without a second thought. I'll tell the story to the people in Port South, Junji says, pulling himself together enough to speak. They'll know my son died a hero, a true king. Tell mother I love her, Beau says, his voice muffled. I imagine him embracing his wretched father, and I have a mind to throw open the door and stab them both. But I don't. I wait until Junji's footsteps fade down the hall before I say, I want you to leave too. I can't. Beau sounds wearier and more fearful now that his father is gone. I made a promise. You can't keep your promise as well outside as you can here by my door, I snap. I don't want to die this close to someone I despise. Beau sighs. I could have loved you, Isra, if you'd let me. Who did you kill? I ask, refusing to confess that I appreciate his decency, or that, vow or no vow, I see no reason for him to die with me, until I know he's done. I didn't kill anyone. It was someone else. Your father? Yes. Beau sighs again. Who did? Is it? I bite my lip until my flesh feels bruised, but that isn't the reason tears gather in my eyes. Is Jem dead? Jem? After a moment of silence, Beau laughs. Even now, your monster is all you can think about? My monster. I wish Jem were mine. I wish it with everything inside me. Your monster might be dead, but my father didn't kill him, Beau says, sending a shiver of relief through my body. My breath rushes out. My forehead falls against the door with a thud. He did something worse. At least, I believe it's worse. Who knows what you'll think, since you obviously don't care for your people anymore. But I care for them more than you ever will. I told you the truth, I snap, sick to death of this same argument. I told Beau about the Queen's diary. I even tore out a few pages for him to look at. Those I knew I wouldn't give a secret of the Covenant away, but he refuses to believe in the dark heart. The power sustaining the domed cities is evil. The people are better off. You're mad. At least half of our people will die of exposure or monstrous attack before they reach Port South. You've sentenced hundreds of innocents to death. Better death than life paid for by the suffering of others. The suffering of the monstrous, you mean? He says, bitterness straining his words. "I almost hate to tell you what father did. If you love them this much while you believe a monster killed the king, how much more will you love them when you know the truth?" Despite the still humid air in my walled-up room, I'm suddenly cold. He can't. "It was my father who killed yours," Bo whispers. "He made it look like the Monstrous, but it was him." No. I pull away from the door and step back, staring hard at the wood, half expecting it to catch fire and burn, showing me Bo's face on the other side. I have to see his face. I have to know if he's telling the truth. I reach out and twist the lock, fling the door open. He steps back quickly, shooting the dagger in my hand a wary glance, but when he lifts his eyes, there is more shame than surprise in his expression. "It was the only way for me to be king." Even Bo's soft voice seems too loud, with the door no longer between us. Or maybe it's the terrible truth in his words that makes my ears ache. "Your father wanted you to be spared. He was planning to marry again, the same widow I was going to marry tomorrow morning. She already has children. The line of succession would have been ensured for another generation. So my father decided to dispose of the king before he took another wife. If the Monstrous hadn't invaded the city, he would have found another way. I didn't know any of it until afterward, but it's the truth." I shake my head. Father was going to remarry. He wanted me to be spared the burden of being queen of Yuan. He loved me after all. And Junji killed him. He killed his king, his friend, a man who trusted him with every secret in his art, with his life, with my life. Junji would have taken them both if he'd had his way, all so that his family could have more power, more prestige. I suppose I should be shocked, and in a way I am, but deep down inside. Isn't this what Yuan is about? Killing for what we want, what we're convinced we deserve? The nobles living in obscene luxury at the expense of the common people? The common people clinging onto their small comforts at the expense of the banished? And all of us stealing life away from the land and the people outside the dome so that we can have feast days and harvest festivals and a surplus and more and more and more, and even when half of what we have would have been more than enough? Junji was only doing what the people of Yuan have always done. He was paying for what he wanted with someone else's blood, but not anymore. Not ever again. "Thank you," I say, feeling closer to Bo than I ever have. "For keeping your promise to the city." "Didn't you hear what I said? My father—" "I understand." I glanced down at the dagger in my hand, grateful I didn't get a chance to use it. I don't want to know what it feels like to pay a blood price. It's more the reason for this to end with us. I know you don't believe what I've told you, but I don't know what to believe anymore, Bo says. It was so clear before, but now he braces his hands on either side of the door frame, his head sagging wearily between them. I glance at his bowed head, at the pale hairs weaving their way among the black. His short time as king has taken its toll. Bo is not a boy anymore. He's a man, maybe even a man enough to be trusted with the truth. I'm parting my lips, debating whether or not to tell him the entire truth, when a great screech and shattering fills the air as if every plate in the royal kitchen were dropped at once. The tower walls vibrate, and Bo and I cover our ears with twin cries of pain. A moment later, a dull boom rocks the stones beneath our feet. The floor tilts, sending me staggering back into my bedroom. My dagger falls from my hand and scuttles across the scones, only coming to a stop when it hits the far wall with a clank. My arms wheel and my feet spread wide to steady me, even as my heart screams that it's pointless to fight, useless to resist. The tower will fall, and I will fall with it. This is the moment I thought I was ready for. But I'm not. I'm not. How could I be? How can anyone ever be ready? Mercifully, after several endless seconds, the floor steadies, and the stomach flipping tilting stops. My breath rushes out, and my heart pounds fast enough to make me dizzy as I turn in a careful circle, taking in the crooked new world left behind in the wake of the quake. My bed curtains list to the left, and my dressing table has fallen on its face, while the pictures on the walls hang at disturbing odds with the room, now that gravity has taken the room one way and pulled the pictures another. Are you all right? Bo asks, drowning out another faint but troubling sound. Shh, I hiss, ears straining. Outside, the air is still once more, but from somewhere deep within the tower comes the crumbling, crunching, loose sounds, a faltering sound, a falling sound. Go, run, I shout, dashing on bare feet to the door, where Bo stands braced against the frame, wide-eyed and as panic-looking as I feel. I duck under his arm, snatching his shirt as I dash for the stairs, dragging him after me, praying the way out is still passable. It's the one thing to say I'll die with City. It's quite another to climb into bed and let the tower collapse beneath me. That's too close to giving up, and giving up is too close to drawing a knife across my throat. I'll fall with Yuan, but I won't go down peacefully. I'll go fighting for my life every second of the way. I'm a warrior now. Jem made me this way, and I won't betray him or myself by giving up without a struggle worthy of the last queen of Yuan.